You're locked into the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship during the Daytona 200 weekend. It's time for Mission King of the Baggers from Daytona International Speedway. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time world champ Jason Pridmore. And Jason, Mission King of the Baggers did not disappoint yesterday.
No, it didn't, and there was so much drama before the race with Tyler O'Hara having to go to the back of the grid, James Rispoli having a mechanical before the race even started, so we weren't sure how it was all going to play out, but there were 6 contenders, and I expect that kind of to be the same thing today. And
for Tyler O'Hara, we know that his grid position has been reinstated, but Jason, let's take a look at the race highlights from yesterday.
Well, you can see the factory Harley-Davidson of the Travis Wyman got out front early, but from the back row of the grid, you can see the start that Tyler O'Hara got. And look how much movement that bike has got over some of the dirty bits of the track. And Tyler O'Hara was able to draft past both Harleys from the run from that chicane to the start-finish line. And you can see Travis Wyman just nipped his brother Kyle at the line as well.
We did not see that coming from Tyler O'Hara. A bit of a shocker. But we look inside the numbers. So far, we've had 5 Mission King of the Baggers races, and Tyler O'Hara's won 3 of them.
Yeah, he has, and I think today it's going to be made a little bit easier. We know he's going to be starting from that front row. It's still going to be these guys battling up front, but Travis Wyman really impressed me yesterday, and if you watch his race interview after, he looked pretty disappointed, even though he tried to tell you he was happy with second. I think that Travis is going to give these guys a headache all year long.
Race action right around the corner. We'll be back to DIS and get Mission King of the Baggers rolling.
Thanks for being with us. Michael Hill, Roger Hayden here on the MotoAmerica Live Plus broadcast. The riders now getting ready for their warm-up lap. And as we just saw there in that highlights package, what a race yesterday, Roger.
It was. Tyler O'Hara played his cards right. And, you know, what was really good for him was, and he knew it, you know, having to get such a good start off the line, make as many passes as he can into turn 1. Today he gets to take his original grid spot, so it's going to make life a little bit easier. But I still think that he's going to be in that battle with the 2 Harleys, and then also with Rispoli and maybe a few other guys with this win. And if these guys get to racing, it could keep the group pretty tight. So I think it's going to come down to another draft to the stripe and who plays their cards right.
Do you think that Tyler O'Hara, obviously coming from the back of the grid to win yesterday, is there a chance he can break away? I mean, obviously, he clearly had to fight his way through, has the pace. I mean, personally, I don't think it's possible, but do you think it is possible?
I guess it could be possible if the guys behind him made a mistake in the infield, but I think with the draft for him, it's going to make it really hard to get away, just because I think if he was faster in the infield, and also Kyle Wyman yesterday was really quick to the infield, so I think it would be difficult for him to get away, but if anybody can do it, could definitely be Tyler O'Hara on the Indian.
If you are just joining us, we are on the warm-up lap for the second race of the season for the Mission Foods King of the Baggers. The 29, Tyler O'Hara, the winner yesterday, will start from pole position. Kyle Wyman, who we see there, the defending champion, will start alongside him in the middle of the front row of the grid, and alongside him, brother Travis, an Indian, and 2 Harley-Davidsons on the front row of the grid. James Rispoli, who now gets to take his original grid spot in 4th, Jeremy McWilliams and Taylor Knapp. It is promising to be an exciting race here, a reduced race, only 6 laps, as they make it onto the banking for the first time on this warm-up lap. We're going to hand it back to Greg White and Jason Pridmore as we get ready for race 2 and lights out here at Daytona.
Mission King of the Baggers is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. By AutoPartsForLess.com. Why pay more when you can get it for less? And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Under very cloudy skies here at Daytona International Speedway, as Mission King of the Baggers race number 2, bikes are on their warm-up lap. A good look at where they're going to start from. Pit lane here, Jason Pridmore. And as we take a look at the track from our vantage point, let's take a look at the starting grid. Tyler O'Hara, like we mentioned, back to pole position. Kyle Wyman, and then Travis Wyman.
And then we got James Rispoli, Jeremy McWilliams, and Taylor Knapp going to round out row 2. Yeah, it's great to see Jeremy McWilliams here. Bobby Fong, Danny Eslick, Frankie Garcia, Hawk Mazada, Patricia Fernandez on row 4 there next to Andrew Lee. Scott Beal, Zach Nation, Brian Shields, Eric Stahl, Corey West and Shane Narbonne. I did see Shane pull in a little bit early during these guys got 2 warm-up laps, so we're going to keep an eye on him. He's going to have to come from the back, so we'll figure out what's going on with that. And there was another rider that had pulled down pit lane that did take his place on row 3, and by our sheet that would be Bobby Fong. So not exactly sure. We'll see what happens here, if Bobby makes this race or not.
So motorcycles forming our grid. It is a pit lane start at Daytona International because obviously the banking on the front straightaway, you couldn't really start motorcycles that way. So they're going to peel off into turn number 1. So here we go. Everybody in their proper starting positions. Tyler O'Hara, race winner from yesterday, doesn't have to come from back of the grid. He's got the best shot into turn number 1. Upper left part of your screen when those lights go off. We're going racing. Mission King of the Baggers race number 2 is underway.
It's a great start from Tyler O'Hara with Kyle Wyman's going to slot in right behind him. There was some confusion on the start between Travis and Kyle swapping spots. It looks like Rispoli has jumped into 3rd on the Vance and Hines bike. You can see Travis Wyman doesn't want to let those guys get away. He is 5th as of now as they roll off into the first International Horseshoe here.
Working the infield road course on their way to their first run at the banking. Oh, and we have a, looks like a debris flag waving.
Yeah. Actually, that is actually a rain flag. So, you know, this place is so big that it can be sprinkling in certain spots of the racetrack and not in others. Now, we did have heavy rain here this morning. That's delayed our program quite a bit, but it blew out of here, dried up fairly quickly with some help from the track and personnel. But it doesn't surprise me that we might still have a couple rain showers in the area. So these guys are going to be watching out for that, as it looks like 3 guys have broke away right now, Greg. Tyler O'Hara, Kyle Wyman, and James Rispoli, who did not get to start yesterday because he had a clutch issue. But he's got that Vance and Hines Harley Davidson running right there in 3rd behind the 2 guys that have been setting the pace.
Kyle Wyman going down off the banking. Talked yesterday about his motorcycle not being able to get in that draft and pass. And Rispoli with his leg out, as they don't seem to be affected by the couple raindrops, Jay. We can tell from them just going over the paint.
Yeah, and these guys would be the first ones to get their arms up if there was a problem. But right now, there might have just been some slight sprinkles in the area. Now, Travis Wyman's the one that I'm looking for back there to see if he's going to be able to catch up to these 3 that have made this amazing break right off the bat here. I believe, let's see who that is in 4th. I think that's Jeremy McWilliams. I can't be sure from here. But these 3 guys are going to lead as they come across the line. It is Jeremy McWilliams in 4th.
And it looks like James Rispoli has worked his way past Kyle Wyman, and he'll take over 2nd spot. Does Rispoli? Let's get down to Hannah.
This is one of the first times so far today that all of these riders have gotten to see the track. They did not have the opportunity to get out for their original planned practice session this morning because of the inclement weather conditions. So really the first time they got to see the track was just before this race began. With an extended sighting lap, they had the opportunity to just take a look around, see what was going on, and then it was grid and go. So if they've made any changes between yesterday and today, they didn't have the opportunity to yet try them out to see if they would be effective.
Kyle Wyman with a big mistake, and he will lose a couple of positions. So yeah, and just to add to what Hannah's saying, also because of the compressed schedule, only 6 laps scheduled in this race, as Rispoli close to your race winner from yesterday. Tyler O'Hara up on the banking they go, and so now Rispoli with a great drive.
Just look at how much these bikes are moving around underneath these guys, Greg, both going into corners, and you can see them leaving big dark marks on the track on the exits. These motorcycles have come such a long way since we first saw them at Laguna Seca last year. The development and stuff that's gone into these has been great. Now, Jeremy McWilliams has made that spot into 3rd. Look at Rispoli under braking going down into the chicane. Man, he made up a ton of time there. Let's see if he can draft that Indian as they come onto the banking out of the chicane. He's going to be in the draft to Tyler O'Hara, and you can see he's just getting pulled along. McWilliams just outside of that, and in fourth, I think it's Bobby Fong now that could possibly be in fourth with the Harley Davidsons of Wyman, both Wyman brothers, in fifth and sixth.
Here comes
Bobby Fong there.
Yeah, so it's been a pass for third, so second place. So for the moment, James Rispoli gets shuffled back as we have two absolute missiles at the front of this race. Mission Foods S&S Cycle Indian Challenger team. Let's get to the fourth member of our broadcast team, Roland Sands. Roland, what are you feeling and seeing down there?
You know, Daytona is a place where it can get sketchy no matter what the conditions are. Today we're dealing with variable conditions. There might be some light rain on the track. It's always a crapshoot whether to give it 100% or just back it off that couple percentage points. But these guys are going to give it their all no matter what happens today. And this is such an exciting race at Daytona. My heart is pumping.
Yeah, and so are the top four now, as Rispoli on the 43 is in third place. But what can James Rispoli do on his Vance and Hines Harley Davidson? There's Kyle Wyman.
It looks like there's some smoke
coming out of it.
Smoke coming from Kyle's bike, and you can see it's not wanting to accelerate. Now his brother, I believe, is right behind him. He will go by Kyle hopefully and tell him that he has got some sort of problem with the #1 Harley. It is smoking as they head back up onto that east banking, Greg, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. The battle up at the front, you can see on the right-hand side here between Rispoli had got himself back up into that spot he needed to be in. Now he's got to deal with Bobby Fong as well.
Bobby Fong, who is now working for Alpine Stars, is getting to race the Mission King of the Baggers. And Fong right now credited with the fastest lap of the race at a 54.6.
So they must have made some wholesale changes for Bobby overnight to get him comfortable on this motorcycle. There's a good look at Bobby Fong on the banking right now. A guy with some experience around here as well, racing superbikes and super sport in the past. And right now, Rispoli is in that draft as McWilliams pulls out of the draft to try to come by his weekend teammate here in Tyler O'Hara. He is going to lead across the stripe, Greg.
How about Jeremy McWilliams taking over the lead? Loves coming to Daytona, does McWilliams. What a move.
And Bobby makes a tremendous move up underneath into turn one. As they go down there, he gets up underneath O'Hara. I'm looking to see if Kyle Wyman came through. He did not. He's on pit lane, Greg. You can see he is on pit lane right now. I know that they made a gearing change on that motorcycle before the start of this race, so I'm not sure if that had anything to do with any of the problems, but you can see Kyle bike has shut itself off and it's done.
That is horrible for the #1 plate, but with more Mission King of the Baggers races this season, it is not as impactful as it was last season, as we're scheduled for 6 events, 12 races this year.
Well, something's definitely gone on because Travis Wyman he's not even close either today. He's 56.7, so not sure, and that could be something as simple as a clutch off the start. Maybe his bike isn't going forward as quickly as he'd like it to do. He might be having a problem himself, so, you know, both the factory Harleys having a couple little issues here in the second race of the weekend.
Bobby Fong behind the bubble, getting it done. Look how fast that Indian is. Bobby Fong on that Roland Sands designed Indian Challenger, and it's got to be Fong who takes over the lead.
Yeah, and I can't say that this surprises me much. Bobby's had a lot of experience. I don't know how much time he had on this bike before race #1 yesterday, but obviously that race helped him a lot. As you can see, McWilliams now in the draft. McWilliams from MotoGP and 250 fame from the 90s, Greg. This guy has been around a long time, been racing the Phillip Island Classic. Anything this guy puts his hands on, he's fast. Now Tyler O'Hara is in a double bike draft. 2 Indians in front of him, and he's trying to slingshot them both, but he's going to get a good look at him here with 2 laps to go, I believe now.
2 to go. Lead changes. The high banks of Daytona. Fong going to try to go for it again. Up the inside he goes, asking for maximum lean angle, and he gets it done. So Bobby Fong,
he's going to try to make a break right now in the infield. That's what he's doing. You can just see it almost by the body of Bobby Fong there as he went through the fast little kinks. Coming out of turn 6 on the first day, I saw Bobby get out of there and have that thing sideways and spin him up out of the seat. He saved it and kept going. They've obviously, like I said, made some changes to make him a lot more comfortable on this bike. We're looking at these guys in the 54s now, both McWilliams and Fong, so this is quicker than we saw yesterday as well.
So Bobby Fong trying to do what Jason said. You can see that these motorcycles, given these rear Dunlop tires, everything they can. Here's a good look at Fong and what he was able to do.
Yeah, just a solid setup there. This is a guy that's been around this track a number of times. He's probably done that to so many different people. Look at the little gap he has. James Rispoli still valiantly trying to hang on to these three Indians. It looks like he's a little bit underpowered compared to the three bikes in front of him, but he's having a go, Greg, and you can see now McWilliams back in the draft of Fong as they go down the back straightaway. Let's see who decides to break a little later. It's going to be Fong coming in from the outside, I think, Greg. Let's see. McWilliams gets it done. Yes, he does. So they're running over that paint on the inside there. All the while, I think Tyler O'Hara's in a great spot. He's watching these two guys do their thing in front of him.
Yeah, there's no question that Tyler O'Hara has a plan. He's the rider in third spot. James Rispoli there in fourth. And with that Harley Davidson, he just can't keep touch. Going through some lap traffic. So Bobby Fong trying to get the draft of Jeremy McWilliams, who just got such a rocket out of that final chicane. They're going to come by, take the white flag. Here is the final lap. So if you're one of these Mission King of the Baggers racers, it's time for your plan to unfold. Who's going to have the right strategy? Oh, a little wide for McWilliams, so he leaves the door open. Fong, such a tight line. Amazing you can do it on these Mission King of the Baggers motorcycles. So Fong trying to do what he did again. Trying to break free here in the infield. Oh, there goes Rispoli.
He goes up underneath Tyler O'Hara. O'Hara's going to try to cut it back up underneath him. This isn't going to help these two guys, but he's trying to get to the front, Greg. I don't think Rispoli can draft these guys, so he's trying to do whatever he can to disrupt some things, try to get that bike on the podium. He's going to have another go at O'Hara as they run down into the turn 5 area. Let's see if he can get it done. He cannot. So 3 Indians still at the front.
And James Hogg Spoli on the Vance & Hines Racing Harley Davidson Road Glide, trying to put an Indian behind him and stand on the podium. But the problem is, once you get to this banking, these 3 Indian motorcycles are absolute rocket ships. Bobby Fong up onto the banking we go. Rispoli in fourth, trying to tuck behind Tyler O'Hara. And the 99 of McWilliams today.
Sideways as he came out of there, out of turn 5. And look at this now. O'Hara is going to have this double draft. I don't think he's going to do anything right now. O'Hara is going to sit right where he's at. You'll see him probably break a little early like that. Follow these two guys in there. Bobby Fong needs to get the best. He has gone through the chicane. I think Bobby's not in a bad spot here. If he can get himself out of here solid. He's got a little bit of a gap, Greg, but it's not big enough.
Now it's a long drag all the way to the checkered flag. And Bobby Fong chooses to go down low. McWilliams up high. Nobody really interested in the draft at the moment. Here comes McWilliams. He comes down off the banking. Tyler O'Hara's in a good spot. Now they start to suck in Bobby Fong. They're going to go by on both sides. And there they go. To the line we go. Checkered flag is out. And it's going to be Jeremy McWilliams who holds off Tyler O'Hara for the win by 25 thousandths of a second. And the Mission Foods S&S Cycle Indian Challenger team teammates will stand 1-2 on the podium. But the 99 successful here in Daytona. What a race. Indian motorcycles will stand on top of the box and occupy second and third as well. A valiant effort from James Rispoli.
Just one more thing on this guy's resume, huh?
Seriously.
Like Jeremy McWilliams needs any more than that. I mean, unbelievable job from Jeremy McWilliams to come to Daytona, jump on this bike, get an opportunity to ride the thing. And you're going to see here, he was able to get in the draft. Bobby Fong did go down to the bottom of the banking, trying to hold these guys off. Jeremy McWilliams gets the draft, looks over, sees Bobby Fong. He didn't know O'Hara was there, but look how close it is between the two teammates.
Yeah, Fong was just a sitting duck, and that's just positioning at Daytona.
Yep, and Bobby will know that. I mean, he'll know exactly what he was trying to do there, Greg. I think he felt like his only shot was to try to lead through that chicane, and that's what he tried to do.
That Mission Foods S&S Cycle Indian Challenger team extremely happy about this. A great job by the 99 of Jeremy McWilliams, who, Jake, from what I understand, I mean, this guy's been around so long. Chuck Axlin, COO of MotoAmerica, was telling me that on a KR3, on a Kenny Roberts 2-stroke motorcycle at Phillip Island, this guy still owns the record for a 2-stroke on a Grand Prix bike.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a good guy. I've got a chance to hang out with him a few times over in Australia, and he's so adaptable. I mean, I don't know. He's just maybe the most adaptable guy you've seen on any bike rig. He can just get on anything and rip. So now he gets to say he's a winner at Daytona. O'Hara's going to run out of here with the points lead with a first yesterday and a second today.
So Jeremy McWilliams, Tyler O'Hara, and Bobby Fong will all occupy the podium.
What a race. Roger Hayden, you can see Jeremy McWilliams celebrating Grand Prix winner and now a winner at Daytona in the King of the Baggers. Is there any bike this guy can't race?
I don't think so. I mean, you could just tell, too, that his race experience, his racecraft, he could have made the pass going into the chicane, but he knew where he wanted to be. And,
yeah.
And, you know, what a great finish. What about Indy in 1, 2, and 3, podium lockout?
Yeah, also pleased there for Bobby Fong. He's now working for Alpine Stars. I caught up with him yesterday, and of course, congratulations to him as well. He's getting married, I understand, so congrats to Bobby Fong. Tyler O'Hara will be happy with the points lead in the championship as we move to round 2. And James Rispoli just finishes just off the podium. He's going to be a contender for the rest of the season after that performance.
Yeah, he was really strong in the infield. It looked like that Harley worked really good in the infield. He just, when they got on the banking, just looked like he was struggling to kind of stay in touch. But, you know, for him, he doesn't have a lot of experience on this bike, and either does Bobby Fong. So for those guys that are already, you know, their first race on the bagger, be right there toward the front. It's a little disappointing that the Wymans had issues, because, you know, those two have the pace to run. Could have had, you know, a couple more bikes up there. But what a great finish that was, and Jeremy McWilliams just put himself in the right spot.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And I did speak to Jeremy early in the weekend, and I said, are you doing the full season? He says, I'm doing a couple of races. I'll definitely be at Daytona. I'll definitely be at Laguna. You might want to get him signed up quickly, boys, because he could be a title contender too. I mean, that was outstanding. I mean, the fact that the guy's 76 years old and can still pedal around as fast as that, I'm joking. We are friends before anybody starts attacking me on social media. But what a ride. What a really good ride. And also for Tyler O'Hara, proving that, again, he is going to be also one to beat this year.
Yeah, and for Tyler O'Hara, he's here for the championship. You know, he missed out on it last year, so for him to come here, get a first and a second, what a great way to start the season. And then also he's going to be happy for the team to go first and second. But for him, he's just been consistent, and a great start to his year.
Yeah, Jeremy, look, he can't believe it, can he? Jeremy McWilliams cannot believe it. He comes up, Des Chuck Axland, of course, the rider manager for Jonathan Rainwald's Superbike, one of the directors, of course, of this MotoAmerica Championship. And Chuck was instrumental in convincing Jeremy to come over and do it, wasn't he? He was a big part of it.
Yeah, and just trying to bring more people over here to race this bagger series. And it just shows you how much it's growing. You know, the first couple races, where it is from there to where it is now is just it's just amazing to see how fast this bagger thing has grown in a short amount of time.
Yeah, the guy on the camera there that looked a bit like me is actually Scott Smart, the FIM technical director, nephew of the late, great Barry Sheen. And everybody coming down here to congratulate Jeremy McWilliams, as is Bobby Fong. Nobody begrudging the win there for McWilliams, is there? Nobody.
No, I think everybody's just happy to see him here and happy to see him get a win. You see the teammates there. That's cool to see. When you have a team that gels like that, it just boosts for everybody on the team, and hopefully now maybe come here and get a win. That would make you want to stay here for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you rightly said there, the three guys embracing there, Jeremy McWilliams, Tyler O'Hara, and Bobby Fong, Indian 1, 2, 3, as the podium is going to be taking place very soon. There's Hannah Loper. She'll be talking to the top three once they get ready and the podium is sorted. Travis Wyman finishing in 5th place behind James Rispoli. Kyle Wyman is going to be disappointed. The defending champion, obviously on the podium yesterday, 0 points today. But as we've said so many times, you don't win the championship in the first race. It's the rider at the end of the year with the most points. Kyle Wyman will come back gun swinging.
And I'm sure if Jeremy McWilliams isn't going to do the whole season, that's who Kyle Wyman wanted to win, to take those 5 points away from Tyler O'Hara. But for him, that's not the way you want to start the season. I'm not sure what happened to Travis. Obviously, looked like he was having an issue as well, just because he wasn't nearly as fast as he was in yesterday's races. But they know they have the speed. They didn't leave Daytona where they want to be. but there's a lot of racing left to do.
Yeah, and of course a lot of racing at very different circuits, isn't it? You know, the Daytona International Speedway, and still the guys are embracing down there. The Daytona International Speedway, a very, very different beast to Laguna, for example. You couldn't have two different circuits, could you?
It's different than any other track that you go to. You just see how much the draft played in effect. These last two races of the baggers, race 1 and race 2, came down to a drafting war. Not many of the other tracks that we're going to go to on the MotoAmerica calendar is going to play into such a drafting strategy.
Bobby Fong then just waiting for the podium to get underway. There is Jeremy McWilliams, big smile on his face. Now a lot of people from Northern Ireland and from the UK will be very, very happy with that one, and rightly so. We are going to step aside as we get ready to hand back to Greg and to Jason for the podium coming up after this.
Mission King of the Baggers coverage has been brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. Drag Specialties, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket parts and accessories for Harley-Davidson and custom V-twin motorcycles. And by AutoPartsForLess.com. Why pay more when you can get it for less?
Welcome back to the World Center of Racing, and after a great run from Jeremy McWilliams, he was able to hold off the advances of Tyler O'Hara and Bobby Fong. And how do you like 1/10 of a second separating the top three? 25 thousandths between McWilliams and O'Hara, the teammates. Bobby Fong able to be right there, the poor sitting duck. And then James Rispoli, who rode so hard through the infield to stay in touch, 1.1. And then Travis Wyman, as we shrug our shoulders all the way down to Andrew Lee in 8th and Frankie Garcia. Let's get right down to Hannah, who is our winner, the 99.
Well, it's a victory for Jeremy McWilliams, the first on the King of the Baggers for you, as well as your first here at Daytona. When we talked earlier this weekend, you mentioned how much that you've been working with this team on the development of this motorcycle, and especially closely with your teammate. Were you able to work together on the track in order to achieve this result today?
Yeah, we had a little plan. Certainly beforehand, it took me a long time to kind of adapt to Tyler's style. It took me a little while to learn how to ride the bagger, but when you get it all together, it's an incredible motorcycle. As we see, we got a 1-2-3 today. The dream was a 1-2. I'm sure Tyler would have preferred it the other way, but I'm happy just the way it is. He's rode really awesomely all weekend, and we've worked very well together. Team's very, very, very well gelled. We learn off each other each and every session and race, and we sit and dissect everything. So I think we deserve this. You know, we have worked pretty hard for it. The guys have come with an incredible motorcycle. I just have to thank Indian Motorcycles and S&S Tuning and Mission Foods, obviously, for supporting the whole program.
Congratulations, Jeremy McWilliams, today's King of the Baggers winner.